and I wanted to do a mental health check-in. And I have some ginger beer here, and I found this shop in Budapest, and they sell these red hots, and also they had lemon heads, which I haven't had in like 2 decades. So yeah. So uh I'm just gonna open this. Don't mind my crusty fingers. Pour this in here. I'm doing actually okay, I guess, because recently, because I kind of want to make a separate video about the other stuff, but like recently, it's been quite shitty, the experiences that I've had. And I was gonna title this video "The Best Lesson I've Ever Learned in the Worst Place Possible." And that was gonna be the title of the video. Um, but I decided to just talk about mental health, and I had the ginger beer, and I don't know, I just confused. I'm very confused right now. And it's but it's kind of like a good confusion because I have clarity on things, but then on other things I can't really speak on them. So I guess it really doesn't have to do with my mental health as opposed to like outside things. And as far as my mental health is concerned, I'm feeling a bit too much, a bit. I've been around people too much, too many people. And I know this about myself. And I feel like when I try to explain to people that I being around too many people is too much for me, they don't get it, number one, or they dismiss it, or they think it's no big deal or something like that. And it's like for me, being around a lot of people, and it's not necessarily just people I don't know, it's just being around big groups of people. It's not healthy for me. Like, and I know that sounds drastic and dramatic, but I've learned that it's not for me and it doesn't work with me. Like, and I feel like people don't understand that because they're like, well, you walk down the street and there are crowds of people everywhere. Yes, and it's a bit not exactly like that. Like, for example, most of the time I walk down the street, I'm wearing sunglasses and I know exactly where I'm going. I go there and I move on. I don't have to interact with people. I don't have to talk to people. I don't have to do all this stuff. And when I'm sedentary and I have no choice but to see people. Like when I wake up and like up recently, I was in this place where every time I had to go to where I needed to go, I had to pass the house of someone else. And every time I would pass by, I was like, I hope they're not sitting outside because I kind of just want to walk and not see anybody. And for people, they take it as like, well, what did that person do to you? What did it? It's not about what the person did to me. It's about me needing time away and me needing time to think and time to be with myself. And I found that when I do that, my mental health is at its optimal. When I'm alone, excuse me, and when I'm by myself, I find that I cope better with like life, with stress, with anxiety, depression, borderline personality disorder, everything. It's just I cope better when I'm alone and when I have time to myself. And some people say to me, like, and I don't know, because I have something that very important, and not important, but very, what's the word I'm looking for? I will say life altering, but that's not the word. And I will say dramatic, but not in a negative way. It was very dramatic, meaning like, wow, something dramatic happened, and it was so clear to me what it was and what it is, I guess, because now I'm out of the situation, so I don't know, but what it was and what it could be. But I kind of feel like now that I'm talking about it out loud, I kind of feel like it actually doesn't have anything to do with my mental health, because it's concerning someone else, and I can just disconnect myself from this person, and I have, and physically I'm no longer in that space. I'm no longer in that country. Actually, I've left. Um, but I still feel connected to the person and the place. And for me, the reason why it's seemingly easy for me to isolate and be away from people so much is because I know when I need to be around people. It's when I am allowed, because people like to suffocate me and I don't like it. And this happened at the last place. When people suffocate me, I like double the time that I'm alone, But when I'm allowed and when people don't suffocate me, then when I'm I can feel the energy and feel when my people are around me. And I felt that at this last place, but because there were so many other people, I felt so suffocated and I felt so just so alone. And I was with other people. There were other people there, but they weren't my people. And the thing is that, before, when I didn't understand what that meant, like some people call them their tribe, your tribe or something. I didn't understand what that meant. And it's easy for people to get offended when someone says you're not their person. But if you're not for someone, you're not for someone. I am not for everyone. So it's like, and I wasn't allowed to speak freely in that place. Like I felt suffocated. I felt restrained. I felt like no matter what I said, that no one heard me. And I felt like people put me in a spot that they wanted me in. And they weren't allowing me to be myself. They were just saying, oh, yeah, that's how you are. Okay. Without actually getting to know me. And then when I tried to respond to that, they would say, like, one statement in particular that I remembered someone said was, oh, you've only been here for a short time, but you're telling me who I am and you just met me, but then I can't defend your idea of me because I've only been here for a short time. And it's just like, that's not how you communicate with people. And yes, I shut down there. I did. Um, and some people might say that that was the unhealthy way to do it, but for me it wasn't, because if I didn't shut down, I would have blown up. So right now, those are my two loads, and I'm working on those not being my only two modes of coping. Um, but right now, that's what I know, because I come from a place emotionally, of anger being my default emotion. And so when I get angry, I either explode or I shut down because I'm learning. Before I would just explode. I didn't even like, when I was a kid, I was told it was unladylike, basically. And so I wouldn't shut down. I would be stifled and suffocated, how I was at this last place. And I think being there, and there was one person in particular who was very triggering for me because they reminded me of the egg. And people who know me know who the egg is. It's the name that I call the woman that birthed me because that's all she was to me, but she abused me a lot. I don't want to get into it right now. But that person who kept suffocating me reminded me of, they reminded me of the egg. And I kept telling myself, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Don't equate this characteristic all the time you come across this characteristic in someone outside of the egg. Don't equate it back to her, the egg. And I did because I was there for a month. So for like 3 weeks, 2.5, I said, okay, this person is their own individual characteristic. They're their own person, and they are not this other person. But as time went on, I I want to speak freely, but even now, as I'm talking to this camera, I feel like I can't speak freely, and I feel like maybe I should just say fuck it. And I think this is the thing. I felt a special connection. There was a couple there, okay, and I felt a special connection to one of them, okay, and not to the other one. And if I was in the beginning, it was switched. At first, I thought it was one of them that I felt a connection to, the other one, and it wasn't. And for me, and I really, 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 I feel like I even now, like I'm still in that place, like I can't say what I want to say, and I feel like I need to release myself of this. I'm not a person that will break up a relationship. That's not me. Okay. To my knowledge, I've not ever done it, and nor do I have the desire to do it. But to me, some things are clear, and some things are obvious that two people don't belong together. And I don't know how else to say it without being rude or disrespectful. And I only want to live in truth. I don't want to live in anything else. And when you're arguing in front of me about your relationship, and I can clearly see that your relationship has no strong foundation, and I have no clue why you two are even together, it made me feel guilty that I felt a connection to one and not the other, because I'm like, well, I don't want my energy, the connecting energy that I feel towards the one, to fuck up the relationship that they have. And so, excuse me, a lot of the times when I was there, I would go off and not speak to either of them because I didn't want to fuck shit up. I didn't want to be like some sort of poison or toxic being for them. But I couldn't help the connection. I still felt, I would walk off, and I still felt it. Even now, sitting here in a whole nother country, I still feel it. And so all I can do is nothing. That's the only thing I can do. That's what I did there. I shut down. I didn't say much. And then, like the night before we left, basically we were asked to leave. That's a whole nother story. Have nothing to do with this particular connection that I'm seeing. I wound up getting into it with their neighbor, and their neighbor suggested that Miana and I, my daughter and I, suggested that we leave. Long story, it just next. So, and it was actually because I was talking to my daughter about it, and it was actually time for us to go. And I kind of feel like maybe I should have left earlier, you know, but this is so fucked up for me. I really felt a connection to one of them. And I didn't, the only way I knew how to handle it was to say nothing, because I feel like it's a bit disrespectful when you have a couple and you only feel a connection to one of them and not the other. For you to then say something as the outsider, you know? But I also am a being who likes to and who lives in truth. And I know what I saw, and I know the energy that I felt there. And I know that had I felt comfortable in speaking freely, that I don't know if I would still be there, but I know I wouldn't feel what I'm feeling right now, and I would feel more relaxed and more comfortable. And I tried to have a conversation with one of them. I tried, and it went terrible. And so I started doubting myself, and I said, maybe I don't have a connection to either of them. And, you know, I spoke to the universe, and I said, because I always do that, that's a very, it's a comfort for me, and it's what I believe in. And I said, I love being alone, because one of the reasons, because I don't like explaining myself to people. I don't like having to constantly explain myself over and over again to people. And no one's entitled to my life's explanation. No one. And so I get tired of people not knowing who I am and not trying to get to know who I am and assuming things about me and putting me in a box and not letting me and not seeing me for who I am. I'm tired of it. And there was like that too. And then when I felt such a strong connection to one of them and I couldn't act on it, I couldn't talk about it, I had to walk off, I became even more angry. So, it was, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm actually going to write a poem about it, because, it's funny. I asked the universe, like, what was the reason for me being there? What was the purpose for me being there? And, one of the people that were there said that maybe it was to highlight what was going on with them. And I told him, I said, to me, because they tell everybody about their relationship. They talk about each other to the other one. They don't respect each other, but then they expect outsiders to show them the utmost respect, which I think is just the most confusing, mind-baffling, backwards way of thinking that I've ever come across. I'm not understanding how you expect respect from the outside when the inside is disrespectful. So, but yeah, I tried as hard as I could without crossing the line. I tried to explain why I was angry and why, and it didn't come out, because the person shouldn't be there. The person shouldn't be there. That place is not for them. And I don't even know if it's for the other people who are there, but I don't have a strong connection with the other ones. I only have a strong connection with one of them. And so I can see their path. There's no other way for me to explain it. There's no other way for me to label it except that I see their path. And they are not supposed to be there, but they are there now. So then there is a reason. So then I talked to the universe and I said, yeah, what was the reason for me being there? And they said to highlight. But I think maybe my reason for being there, one of them could be because I need to get back into my writing, because my writing, I believe, is a natural talent, but I also believe that it is a gift from the universe. And how dare I not express it? And I've been feeling guilty about not writing, and I'm feeling like I'm wasting what I've been given and what is inside me naturally. And so I've been motivated and I've been triggered to write again. And part of me doesn't want to write because I know a lot of this stuff is going to come out like that phlegm. When you drink that honey and lemon and that phlegm just comes up and out. I know it's going to do that. And I don't know if I'm in the right physical and mental space to handle all of that emotional mucus. And nobody understands me. Mm-hmm. So they just think I'm just some weirdo who walks around angry, shaves her head, and doesn't like people, but that's not true. And I don't want everybody to understand me, to be quite honest. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't want everyone that close to me because I feel things too deeply, and it's draining for me. It's very draining, and I just wish I could be with my people. I want to be with my people. And I thought that I had come across my person. And it just fell flat. And I was so angry because for me, I could see clearly who they were. And so I moved cautiously and gently. I told you why. And I just think it was like, it's like, I don't know if you've seen the movie with God, him and his father are in the movie. Anyway, he's in at the end of the movie, he's in this building, and it's like a reverse world. So he sees his family, but his family can't see him, and he's banging on the wall, but he's like in a mirrored building, and his family is walking by the mirror, and he can see them, but they can't see him because they don't even know he's there because he's in another world. Like, and that's how I felt there. I felt like I was standing in front of my person and just yelling, and they couldn't hear me or see me. And it's interesting because now I've been able to put words to it, but that's how I felt. And I feel sadness right now, even as I'm speaking about it. And part of me thinks it's unfair because it's just unfair when you know, see life literally walking right past you. And what can you do? You can't grab it because I have my own life. I can't. If someone doesn't see me, how can I force them to see me? I don't agree with that, and I won't do it. So, I'm gonna put some red hots in this. I've been wanting to try this red hots and ginger beer. Ah. I love red hots. See? So, ooh. But yeah, And sometimes I lay here and I just think about the person, and I can see a life and with the both of us. I don't, if I had in my mind, the person for me is not someone who I'm around 24/7, and they're not clingy. They are free. They are free. They live their life. They're on their own journey, and we just meet up and we intersect, but we each have our own journey, and we respect each other, and we love each other, and what else is here? And I just I don't feel lost because I still have my journey, and I still can travel it alone. There's always I can do that. I can do it. But to know that to know that my person was there, I'm so sad. Like I'm so a little heavy, and I want to drop this weight off. Like I don't want it because it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't serve me, because how can I say that? I don't know it. Excuse me. And I think it's a bit of arrogance to say that, just drop the weight off because it doesn't serve me, but I don't want it anymore because I'm tired of being drained. I'm tired of being weighted down. I'm tired. I'm tired. I was tired there. I gave so much of myself. I gave so much of the resources that I had. And I feel like the way it ended so unjustly and so just without dignity, you know. And I I feel like part of me feels like it hasn't ended, but and then the other part of me just wants it to end. I want it to end because I don't want it anymore. And I'm the type of person where I believe I'm quick to call someone a coward if they don't stand for themselves even in the difficult times. And so I have labeled this person a coward because I feel like part of me believes that they saw who I was, but they didn't have the courage to say anything. And I don't respect that. I don't. And because it's very difficult for me to live my life how I live it, people talk shit about me all the time, and they assume negative things. They assume wrong. They assume everything almost about me, and they don't know me, and they don't even get to know me. They pass me by and they say their words, but they never get to know me. And even when they ask me a question, they have the answer to their own question in their head when it's about me. So did they really hear what I said? Did they really hear the answer? And I even said to this person, like, they said to me, like, where will you go after this? And I said, somewhere where people listen, because I'm so sick and tired of people not listening to me. Not just, oh yeah, I heard what you said. Like the ability to hear, the sense. You have a sense. Hearing is one of your senses, but listen, like actually listening to me, like that wasn't had there. Like no one's actually listening. And so I'm just so sick and tired of not being around my people and not having my people with me. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I want my people so bad, but I don't want them bad enough to bring them to me when it's not the right time, because I want us to have a good experience. I want us to have just the most phenomenal experience ever. And if it's not the right time for my people to be in my life, then I have to wait. It's very difficult though, because it's sad. I feel sadness. Like I have depression, I have anxiety, I deal with the everyday borderline personality disorder, but I am sad right now. Like I am so sad right now, and that makes me want to isolate even more because I don't want people to be sad around me because I'm sad. I don't. Um, and then I'm worried now because I don't want the sadness and the heaviness I feel to trigger a depressive episode. So then here comes anxiety whispering, talking about, oh, here we come. So all I can do, all I can do really is be myself. But I spoke to the universe, as I said, and I know that the universe hears me. And I wish strength for that person because they're going to need it. And we all need strength, to live life. I feel like people look at me and they see me and being a nomad and doing it, and they just say, oh, you just go and you just do whatever you want. I do whatever I want because I know it's the right thing for me. I just don't, I do whatever I want. Like if I want that car, just go and steal it. That's not, and I feel like that's what people have in their head. I do whatever I want because I know it's the right thing for me. I do whatever I want because I don't want my mental health to suffer. I do whatever I want because I know that that's the true me on the inside. I don't just do, I feel like, eating off somebody's place or doing, not that kind of doing whatever I want because that serves no purpose except stupidity and maybe some prison time. I do whatever I want because whatever I want is right for me. And sometimes I treat myself to a little naughty something, but cheers to the ginger beer and red hots. So, yeah. I wish I could tell y'all everything. I want so bad to tell y'all everything that happened, but I'm not going to in this moment. But I feel like if somebody's watching this and they know, then they can read between the lines and fill in the missing gaps and they can understand. And maybe one of my people, they're watching and so they know. And maybe it's for me to watch back later. I don't know. But it's not that I don't have clarity now because I hear something, a voice saying to maybe because I don't. It's not that I don't. I feel like I have clarity, but I am also confused. And I just, I want to be, I want to be happy. And I want people around me to be happy. And I don't want people to be sad. And I definitely don't want people to be sad or hurt because of me. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I don't care if you don't like it. But I don't want people to be sad because of me. And that was something that stopped me from speaking openly there, is because I felt like if I said something, then it would hurt the other person. And so I didn't say anything, which is not my way because I say whatever I want like 97% of the time. Because I don't care so much if someone doesn't like how I say it. I just care if it's truth or not, and if it needs to be said, so then I say it. But I felt like what I wanted to say needed to be said, but I felt that it would maybe wasn't the right time and that it would hurt the person's feelings. And maybe they needed their feelings to be hurt. I don't know, but I just felt like it wasn't my place to do it, even though I could have. And so I'm going to end this here because I don't know. I'm just going to. And so I wish kindness and happiness and not too much sadness, because sadness is an emotion. It needs to be expressed. It needs to be felt. But That's what I'm gonna say. So I wish you guys love, and I wish everyone finds their people, and to people who love you and know you and understand you and appreciate you and value you and see you for who you are. And that's it. Ciao. Bye, guys.